You are that which experiences the experience of consciousness. I am that in me which experiences the experience of consciousness. We are that inside ourselves that experiences the experience of consciousness. We are that which exists inside of the experience of consciousness. We are that which exists in consciousness. There seems to be something in us which is the experience of consciousness. And since this experience is so basic for us, it is easy to believe that we are this that experiences consciousness. This could be the ultimate reality in us, that which is prior to consciousness, the ultimate absolute, that which is below and under and behind everything that exists. There is something in us that experiences the experience of consciousness. People say that we are consciousness. I would say that no, we are that which experiences consciousness. And even furthermore, we are that which experiences the experience of consciousness. Because we are that which experience our own experience. We are not only that which experience, we are that which experiences our experience. We experience ourselves experience. We experience the experience. The experience itself, of whatever it is something that we experience. And consciousness itself is also something that we experience. Then we could say, but why do we do that? How can it be possible for us to experience our own consciousness? Well, because we are the so-called background awareness, that so much of the new modern kind, the new modern version of Advaita Vedanta is saying that we are the background awareness, we are the background consciousness, we are pure consciousness. Well, maybe we could say that because we experience our experience with the background awareness, we experience our consciousness with the pure consciousness, but it doesn't actually make sense. To me, I'm very much romantic when it comes to the ultimate absolute, simply because I have described and experienced, so to speak, or discovered that which is true space, or space itself. I've given an adequate explanation of that which is space itself, which is something that we cannot see. Space is simply that which gives environment and room and space for that which exists in space, but we cannot actually see space. We can only see that which exists in space. Even the spaciousness that we see in light are that which happens or occurs or exists or takes place in the space that we cannot see. The space that is complete nothingness, the void, the ultimate absolute, that which is before any kind of creation. Because if that void was not there, then there wouldn't be any space for things to appear in. There wouldn't be any possible environment, there wouldn't be any possible void platform for elements and particles and matter to take place in. And we are actually just seeing matter. Light is matter. Whether it is waves or particles, it is matter. So the universe, as we call it, is that which takes place in space. But true space, the true nature of space, is that which we cannot see, the underlying factor that gives everything possibility to exist in space. So we don't see space, we see spaciousness. Let's say that we can see space, but actually we cannot see the true nature of space. We can only see spaciousness illuminated. We can see space as it is illuminated by light and objects and particles and waves and electromagnetic energy and so forth. We can see that which exists in the ultimate reality, which is the space that we cannot see. And in some sense, this also gives meaning to say that this non-existent reality in us can be that which experience itself, can be that which experiences consciousness as well. As Nisargadatta Maharaj says, it is actually enough to understand that there is a state prior to consciousness. If you can see that there is a state prior to consciousness, then you're halfway there. Then you have already gotten a glimpse of the ultimate absolute. So the state prior to consciousness, which we could say in spiritual terms when it comes to Advaita Vedanta, is that which is prior to beingness. The state in us which is prior to the I amness, which with Nisargadatta Maharaj is that which we truly are. We are not our own I amness, the beingness that we experience. I experience my own beingness. I experience my own beingness, but we are that which experiences the I amness. We are that which experiences our own beingness. And that is, or could be, or might be, the ultimate absolute, the state prior to consciousness, the state prior to the I amness. So there is, you could say, an aspect of black matter in us. I mean, there is something, there's a void in us, or there's a reality, dark matter reality that we cannot see, which actually experiences or registers everything that we experience. So to say that we are our own experience, yes, we can say that we are our own experience. But furthermore, I would say that we are our experience of our experience. And since we have experience of consciousness, we could also say that we are the experience of consciousness itself. And this might be a refuge, a needed refuge. Can be the heart self that also Ramana Maharshi is pointing to, the heart self, that is the true self, the heart self, that is prior to Brahman, you could say the Para-Brahman state, which is prior to Brahman. The true heart self that is beyond and below and behind every other state inside us. Because we are the self behind the self, we are that in us which experiences the self in which we appear in and live in and exist in and experience through. So there is something that makes it relevant to say that we are that which experiences the experience of consciousness. We are that which experience the game of life. We are that which experiences that which plays out in consciousness. We are the experience of that which appears in consciousness. That which appears on the ultimate absolute. That which appears is that which appears on the ultimate absolute, which is that from where we experience. And this could be a refuge, and that refuge would be the inner heart refuge. That would be the pre-God refuge, the prior to beingness refuge, the prior to existence, you could say, but not, of course, prior to existence, because the ultimate reality also has an existence. It's just an eternal existence. It's an existence free from the play of consciousness, free from the play of I amness, free from the play of beingness, and free from the play of experience itself. This is a little meditation, a little spiritual exercise that might be good, helpful, and beneficial for us to do when we see ourselves lost in the web of mental life and of attachment to anything that we experience in our mental life. We are that which experiences our own experience. We are that which experiences the consciousness in which life and we ourselves appear in. So it might be a state prior to consciousness, a state prior to beingness, that registers and has awareness of the play of life, of the play of consciousness, of the play of everything that we perceive, experience, imagine, and so forth. Because we are always projecting, and what are we projecting from and through? If we cannot completely say what we are projecting from, because we cannot completely pinpoint or identify that in us which is making the projections, which should be ourselves, the engine inside ourselves, then at least we can say, what is it, what kind of medium is it that we are making projections through? Well, of course our our perceptions. We are projecting because of perception. We perceive something and then we make a projection. And we see this. With what kind of knowledge do we know this? How is it possible for me to say that I am the experience of experience? Sometimes we fool ourselves, so we shouldn't be too fast and too quick to confirm the existence of this or that, because we are all living all the time in consciousness, you could say. And as Nisargadatta Maharaj also says, that all knowledge is false. I mean, everything that you can know something about is false, because it's not the true reality of that which you know something about. That which you know something about you don't see the ultimate reality of that phenomenon. So everything that we say could be the human libretto, it could be our endless opera, our trying to explain things. But at least to see that there is a state prior to beingness and a state prior to consciousness. A state prior to beingness is very nice. Same as the poet Yeats, who said that I'm longing for the face that I had before the world was born, or I'm longing for the face I had before I was born, or before the world was born. That points also to the ultimate absolute, or to the original space, you could say, or to the part of us that is the ultimate absolute, or that has the ultimate absolute inside ourselves as a part of our nature. But because, as we know from quantum physics, everything is a mix, it's a very diluted and thin soup, but it's a lot of particles and waves going on in this soup. It's not possible completely to pinpoint and describe and give a final analysis, perhaps, because we're living in the cave of Plato. We're living in self-delusion. We're living in active self-delusion. We're living in the act of creating illusions for ourselves. This is, of course, why also Buddhism has such a strong hand, because if you give up the desire of explaining the world, then you don't have to do that. You don't have to do this. But in order to come closer to the state prior to consciousness, it is relevant and it could be helpful and important to meditate on these matters or on these aspects inside of us. It could be a good thing to meditate on that which might constitute the different parts and aspects of us which creates our whole nature. We are that which experiences consciousness. We are that which has the experience of consciousness. In a way. But, of course, it's also true to say that we are consciousness, and it's also true to say that we are that which has the experience of consciousness. So, what will it be? We don't know, and no one knows. This is the truth. No one knows. We just know that consciousness exists, right? And we don't actually know what consciousness does with us, because, as I've said, we're living in self-delusion, or we're living in the possibility of creating and constituting illusions and self-delusions for ourselves when it comes to ultimate nature, when it comes to the self. But at least to say that we are the self behind the self makes very much sense, because we know, we can see ourselves from the point of a true self inside ourselves. We can see that which we are in this world. And we are, of course, creating, or the human program is constituting the reality that we perceive and experience. It's another door to open into that which can be meaningful for us to see with a little bit clearer eyes than usual. Thank you.